Alright, hello and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda 2. We're going to start by talking to the woman in red so that we can get this annoying beeping out of the way. Thank you. And then I think... maybe I'm wrong. I thought the woman in orange was in this house, but let's pop in here. We're going to see this gentleman who I believe is Error. We're going to come back and talk to him later. You absolutely don't need to. There's just something will change in his dialogue in a little bit. Now, this woman in red here says that Mariah of Kantari stole our trophy. So that is referring to somewhere I get to in a second. Use keys in palaces in which they're found. That's not at all true. Every palace has enough keys, but if you, for whatever reason, find a way not to use a key, you can use it somewhere else. Do not go south without a candle. Fair enough. So, yes, the Goriah in this other desert, I don't know where the magic woman was. She just didn't pop out, which is fine, because we don't really need to see her just yet. So we could have gone here before, but this desert here is what they're referring to, and Goriah are those boomerang-throwing enemies. So in here, we have to deal with this very annoying bat, because if it goes in that direction, it has a very high likelihood of killing you, and at that point I just leave and go back in, because it is not worth dealing with. There we go. And you can generally just jump across here and you shouldn't die from that guy, but I find that like 1 out of 10 times he'll hit you mid-air for no apparent reason, so I usually just wait on that. But here is our Goriah. This is a little slightly upgraded compared to the orange one, but it is enough to get us our next attack level. Excellent. Not too problematic. You just gotta obviously watch for the boomerangs on the way back, while simultaneously keeping your eye on front. Oh wow, this bat is not really supposed to be here. That's an annoyance, but that's fine. Generally, he's all the way over here. I don't know why it was over there. Probably happened to me before, but not any time that I remember. I never really said anything about it, so those dark kind of shadow monsters that pop up, they'll appear, it's not entirely random. People who do like speedruns know how to manipulate it, but it's mostly random, at least as you play, it feels that way when they pop up. Yeah, see, I knew she was in there, she just never came out. And if they strike you on a path, then nothing really happens. You have a save screen, and you can just leave it. But if they you run into them anywhere else, you saved the trophy. Come inside. If you run into them anywhere else, then you have an enemy encounter. And that's just kind of a constant thing on the overworld screen. You also potentially can run into a fairy. You've seen that a couple times where they've popped up. With this, you can jump very high. Wonderful. Alright, so we now have the jump spell. Jump is 100% necessary in a number of locations, and even though I don't use it much at all for combat, there are a couple of combat locations where people like to use it as well. But for now, we're going to leave, and we will go south, as we have both jump and the candle. I'm going to keep an eye on the time here. There's a number of things that I want to get done, but I don't want the video to go too long, so we'll see what's happening. I don't really need to stay down there. So we'll take care of our octopus friends. Octo rocks, I think they're called. Alright. Doing much worse this time around against this guy. But it's alright, probably. We're going to cancel again. It would have been reasonable to use it there, given how poorly I did. But hopefully we don't need to. Theoretically, you can always, from here, leave and go back to town and just try again, too. It's always an option worth keeping in mind. Alright. Why don't we use the shield since we got this blue potion. And I think there's one more up a tick further, the Gry will be there. There we go. That's better. And we'll just dodge this one, and carry on. There we go. Let's see if we can take out both of them. Good. And then there's one more bat back here, which is a red bat. And they are interesting because they're a little stronger, and they turn into these gargoyles that spit fire. But we have to use our jump spell to get over that. It might be possible to, I don't know, finagle things in some way to do it, but it's not a thing I can do. Up here we have a fairy, which I usually get here. You don't really need to, but I'm not going to go up that way again later. And then also right here, it's 4 times. If for whatever reason you want to, this is a pretty good place to kind of grind some levels because it's very, very easy. Especially if you stick with just the smaller blobs and not the bigger, scarier ones. But on this screen we have an extra life, which usually I wouldn't bother picking up to the end, but I don't want to walk all the way back here, so we are going to grab these as we go. Hopefully we don't die anywhere, but yeah, right here is where that is. And we can leave this swamp, and I feel like bothering it. Alright, so yeah, we're going to go south here, and we're going to do a couple of extra things. Specifically, we're going to start by going across here. That was poorly done by me. I always hate these bridge areas and dealing with enemies like this. It's just very annoying, and I get hit far more often than I should. I'm also going to go over here quickly, because I'll want to heal up in case I do get hit by any of these guys. But we have another point bag here, 100 experience points. I really hate these cat enemies. They're extremely easy, or at least they should be, but I get hit by them far, far more often than I should for something like a pretty consistent pattern. So we're going to pop into this town, which will have a familiar name for people, particularly who've played Ocarina of Time. It's the water town of Saria. You can talk to some people. Hello. And specifically, this guy says, "Eyes of Ganon are everywhere. Be careful." And at this point, people that we talk to will occasionally turn into monsters. Let's see if we can make it happen. Hello, young man, young fellow, whatever. Think someone comes out of here? Maybe not. Pretty sure it does, though. Yeah, it's definitely that house. So let's go back, and I bet she will come out. This is an example of one of the easier fetch quests of the game. I lost my mirror. Okay. And right over here, I guess easy in terms of solving it when you know where it is, but I'm not sure that you would know to look under this table. I found a mirror under the table. Wonderful. So we will return this mirror to her in a moment and get a new spell. Let's see, maybe she'll transform. In Midoro Swamp, find a handy glove. Yeah, we'll get to that soon. Hello. There we go. Someone turned into a bat. There we go. Let's refill our magic, and then health should be further on this screen. In here, we have a guy that, at first, 3 or 4 times, he'll just show us that he's sleeping. But if we annoy him enough, let me be. Oops. Let me be. Master is in the woods north of the river. Which master we will learn in a moment. Sort of. I guess we won't necessarily learn that it's him, but we will learn that we want to talk to him. When we go here to the end of town, we realize that we are blocked by a large waterway. Talk to this soldier here. Only town folk may cross this river. Interesting. Alright, so he won't let us pass. Now, we gotta make sure we stop and return this mirror before we leave, because I very often will forget to do that. Which tends to be very annoying. Alright. Oh, you found my mirror. Follow me. Life is another spell that you don't technically have to get, but it is exceptionally useful. Not surprisingly, the life spell restores health, about 3 bars of health. Not about, it restores 3 bars of health. Use this magic to restore your life. Alright. Right now it is very expensive because our magic level is still very low, and it will remain pretty expensive for at least a couple of levels before coming down. But, alright. So, now we can leave here, and I think we have enough time to be able to do everything that I wanted to. So you can just leave the same way you came. I like to go across this other bridge just so we can see both of them. Both are annoying, just in different ways. Oh, that was weird. Just kind of lost my forward momentum. Oh, that was handy. Good timing. I would like, certainly, to get... again, there's very, very little reason for me to get that right now, but I'm going to. Yes, I would like to get my next attack level fairly early in this next dungeon, so we can build up a little bit. So right here on this exact spot, 2 over. Oops. I didn't think they would come quite so quickly. Take care of that guy, and just carry on out of here. We want to go up here, 3 squares, and then over 1. And this is the Master, who's in the woods north of the river. There's a lot of spots where you have predetermined... who is my name? Show my note to the riverman. So now that guy will let us pass. But yeah, there's a lot of spots in these woods where you have predetermined encounters. I forget where all of them are, but this path is the easiest and safest way to go. That way you don't have to deal with anything else. We'll come over here. We're going to go into this cave quickly. But I'm not too worried about taking... Wow, maybe I should be worried. That seems unnecessary. But I did it, so it's fine. Really just have to deal with this Goriah here. This is a low-level Goriah. This is what I meant to do over there, was to jump on the pillar and fight them up there. I'm not 100% certain how I messed that up so badly. We have another points bag, 200 experience points. So yeah, I definitely want to get up to the next attack level in this dungeon, but I also want to accumulate a decent number of experience points before we hit our next major location. So just south of here, if you need it for any reason, is a red potion. I'm not going to get it right now. I don't know why, because I'm not going to need it later, but that's fine. Unfortunately, ran into one of the bigger guys in here, which is much more annoying than when you face the smaller guys in here, because they have these little birds that fly constantly, which can steal your experience points, similar to the guys that we saw in the first castle. Alrighty. So we're just going to make our way through the swamp. You can kind of hide in the paths if you want to. It's not overly necessary, particularly because of what is going to happen when we actually do reach the castle, which is... just similar to that one knight statue that we saw in the first castle. If you strike this, you will always get a red potion. And you can just leave and come back and always enter with full health and full magic, which is nice. You may also have noticed, actually you can do one other thing that I don't often do, but we will just in case I mess up. If you leave again, now this kind of is reset. So if for whatever reason you need to refill on stuff early on in this dungeon, you can pop back up here and do so, and maybe I will. But you may have noticed that I'm going to start off by going all the way down in this first place. I kind of cast a spell as my magic was going up there after collecting the potion, and then I continued to collect it afterwards. That's because those red potions, I think they fill exactly 8 mana vials, or mana kind of squares up top. So if you use it while it's still refilling, then it'll finish giving you that much mana. If you do it after it has stopped, then you won't get that bonus. Oh, that was poorly done. Come on. Now it looks like I will be collecting that vial, I guess. Alright. So, I want to try to stay up top here, and we should be able to avoid those and slide in behind there. Very good. Alright. Let's collect this key, and then we can head out. Just in case. You have to kind of activate the spells in order to use them, which I think is a nice mechanic to avoid people kind of accidentally using it or using it twice in a row, but they don't mean to. Alright, so we're going to go up here. I usually pop over, you don't need to do this at all, but I like to kill this guy. And then come and take care of this guy as well. So head over here, and I think, is there a, yeah. So we will get rid of you, and then come take care of that guy. Alright, very good. So, kill you, and now we're going to get a slightly new enemy type. We have obviously fought these guys before, but they didn't used to have this ability to jump and do a down thrust like that. So we just have to keep an eye on it. They're not great at it, so they jump a little too high, which is good, so it avoids us being hit by them too often. But we collect that second key, and now we can go on and move into the rest of the dungeon. And like I said, just to show it off, I'll kind of go up here and collect this potion. Now, for this, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be going to entirely new areas, but if we had already gone somewhere and killed an enemy before, then this would be a nice kind of thing to have in your back pocket, because this way you haven't officially left the palace, and therefore all the enemies you killed are still dead. Over here there's just dripping dots to the right, so we don't need to go and face the acid. But this way is where we actually want to go to get deeper into the palace. So we will do this guy again, and our attack level will go up. Alright, let's continue on. So this room can be annoying. You want to stay low so that these kind of flying heads don't come any higher than where they are right now. You also need to be careful about when you open that door, because similarly they can still hit you if you are actively opening the door. This is another one of my least favorite rooms where, even though it should really be quite easy, I die far more often than I should, simply because I'll get hit by these bots kind of randomly changing direction. And as I said, one of the easiest ways to die is to kind of get bumped off the edge of something. Should be good here. But just kind of in addition to always being in danger of dying, you also just have to kind of put up with that waiting period, which gets annoying. Alright, so you see how easily they fall now. It's not a bad time. They've gotten a red potion. Okay with that. We will continue to skip out on life levels, and we'll let this guy kind of bounce around and go away. Excellent. And we should be able to get out of here. Now, I'm not going to do it right now, but if you ever need to, there is a full red potion in that head if you strike it. I'm going to, I think for the first time here, let's let him bounce into position. position. I'll show you that, yeah, once you're at level 4, for me at least, it doesn't take so long that it's completely unreasonable to kill these guys, but it still takes a while. Like I said, you can see exactly how easy it is, but it's way too time consuming to do on a kind of regular basis. So I usually still, oh, come on. Maybe I should just kill them. Probably go the way back. Alright, again, I will kill this guy because it's fun. And I will go this way. Let's try not to go too far so that we can not have to deal with both of them at the same time. Very good. Alright, we're going to go to the left here. This is actually pretty much going to be the last thing that we're going to do. This room is very annoying, particularly if, like me, you are impatient and just run through it. It's absolutely not what you should do, but I do it anyway. Because those blocks, we can't do anything about. We can't destroy them or anything like that, at least as of right now. Now, in here, I'm going to first use jump, and I think you might be able to jump up this way. Yeah, good. Because up here we have a red potion, so I will collect that, and then fill up my life. Oops. Leave. Go back in. Actually, I didn't really need to leave and go back in. That was unnecessary. But now I can use shield and be relatively prepared for dealing with two upgraded iron knuckles. So this is the red iron knuckle. There's another one back here. Again, don't start opening that door until you have taken care of this guy. But you can see that when you get that pattern down, they just really aren't that much of a problem. Very good. Alright. Deal with you and you. And now we can come over. And we just collected the glove, power glove. I don't know what it's technically called. And what that does is it allows us to be able to destroy these blocks with our sword, whereas before that we couldn't. So you could potentially just get trapped in here. Now, still, I prefer to just kind of race through, because it's just annoying to wait till they all fill up, but it's an option. And now that you have the glove, you can deal with this. Later on in the palace, you would get to a point where you cannot advance without having collected the glove. So unlike the candle in the first palace, you actually have to get it before you can go on. So if we go down, this will advance further into the palace and close to where the final boss is. We're not going to do that right now. Why am I doing such a bad job against you? It's fine. We're going to use our red potion and go on the screen anyway. And now that this guy's already gone past me, I really should just let him go. But he annoyed me by hitting me, so I've killed the two of them. Okay. Yeah, once we get out of the palace, I'll probably end things. Maybe we'll go back to Saria, because that's where we're going to be starting our next video from. Yeah, I don't know, I might as well just... Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so we just gotta make sure we get out of here without messing up too badly. Let's try and keep this guy in front of us as much as we can. There we go. And we'll just let him go over. There we go. Alright. And our final potential pitfall screen. I suppose it's not a pit really, it's more of a lava, but it has the same effect. And we'll just wait. Alright. Take care of our last two bots and continue on. And now we can just leave relatively unscathed. At this point, even if we do get hit by the horse heads, it's not that big a deal. It's annoying, and they'll take some HP anyway, or XP and HP. But It's not as annoying as when you're going in and trying to keep full health so that you continue to have your sword beam. Probably something I should actually have talked about, but we'll get to it later. Alright, so we can leave and we'll head back towards Saria. I guess it's no time setting, so yeah, probably you have noticed that the sword beam only exists when your health is full, just like in the first game. However, unlike in that game, the beam is not as strong. I think the amount of damage it does to enemies that are affected by it is the same as the regular sword, but there's a lot of stronger enemies that it has no effect on, which you've probably been able to see against like the Iron Knuckles and guys like that. But it's still something you absolutely want, because frankly, the enemies that it tends to be the most helpful for are a lot of those ones that are weaker but more mobile, like these cats. You want to have an increased chance to be able to take them out. Or the bats. It's just very nice to have an extra way to deal with them. So we'll just follow a path here and get to Saria, where we will end things. Well, we go this way. I think I like this path better. We talked to Bagoo, so the path will be open for us. And luckily we're in kind of a perfect-ish situation. I'd like to have a little more experience, but that just requires getting very, very lucky with some points bags against enemies. And the reason I'd like a little more experience is because there are going to be times, now that we are going to a harder section, where I am going to want to have the ability to have better health and magic, but maybe I'll be able to avoid it. Let's see, actually. Did I? No, the magic lady's further on. That's where we got the mirror. There she is. Alright. So, we are full on health, full on life, and we will end things right here, where we have to talk to the Riverman, and then we will continue on to Death Valley. But till then, see ya.